Like, I always thought the goal was to get to heaven. I never knew that the goal was for heaven to be in me and for me to manifest it on earth. That's like a totally
That
different
is a
idea.
word. It is.
You know what I'm saying?
That
And that's
is.
literally that's in the Bible, but people don't teach you that.
That is a word. Say that again one more good time.
The idea is not to get to heaven. The idea is for God's will to be done on earth as it is in heaven. The only way He can do that is through us.
This is Treehouse Vibes, Best Friends,
Uncut,
your raw and unfiltered girl talk podcast. Hey! Thank you for tuning in to episode 5 of the Treehouse Vibes podcast. We are your hosts, Brittany and
Kristen.
And we are joined today by our guest,
Rick Rogers, the hitmaker.
Okay, so he real humble and quiet and whatnot, but however, this is Rick Rogers, the super producer,
top tier
artist, genius,
musical genius,
all of that. Did we miss anything?
Nope.
But most importantly, he is also family.
He is. This is family. He's actually my cousin, but we all grew up in the same neighborhood in Newport News, Virginia. Uptown.
Yeah.
For sure.
For sure.
Rest in peace, Rodman.
Rest in peace, Rodman. Okay, so today, this episode is all about God. It's about God, our God journeys, how we love God, our faith. And we thought that it would be important to have Rick on this podcast today because he has had a very vulnerable, out loud journey. Don't you think?
I do.
Okay. So his journey has been all on social media. He's done podcasts. He's changed the way he do his music, everything. So we thought that it would be interesting to have him on the podcast today.
Yes.
What you think?
Yep.
Okay. So we're gonna jump right on in. So being that you've been doing music how long, for the people who don't know?
At least 15 plus 20 years probably.
Okay. And how has your music career changed since you first started?
As far as like now that I'm a Christian artist or just
period. Like, has it grown? Like,
I mean, I don't know. Because I never get caught on what I'm doing. So it's like once I'm done with it, it's on to the next thing. So I don't even like boast in what I've done because I done been everywhere. I've been to all the labels. I done been around the Puffies, the Timberlands, and everything. But I don't know. Once it's done, I'll be on to the next thing. So it's always going up though. No matter what it look like, I'm always elevating though because I keep going.
That's a fact,
right? Absolutely.
He started doing. For y'all who don't know, because he's just gonna breeze on through this thing. He started doing music in high school in my auntie house. Doing mixtapes, doing all of that. You was working at Taco Bell at one point, and then you stopped Taco Bell because you was like, "F this, I'm doing music full time," and that's what you've been doing full time ever since.
Yep.
Okay.
Never had a job after that.
Say what?
Never had a job after that.
No, and that was 15, 16, some years ago. Okay. So can you tell everybody, like, as far as, like, God. Well, first of all, before we get into Rick and his story, you want to talk about like why we thought that this was an important episode to do?
Well, right now we are in May. Mental health awareness. Although this won't drop until June, but this was recorded in May. God is number one in our lives, and this whole podcast, we're literally on I feel like God is taking the wheel. The only reason we're even doing this is because I feel like I'm following instructions.
Facts.
I'm just being obedient. So, and y'all hear me throughout the other episodes. I'm talking about God. Like, in some way, I'm going to throw God in here some way because literally, I wouldn't be me. I can't do what I'm doing. Because if you really know me, you know that this is out of my character. Like, this is out of my character, and I would not be able to do that had I not been given the instruction.
Right.
So I'm being obedient. So any chance I get to talk about God, I want to talk about God. And I just think that your story is gonna be like amazing. And I really feel like you're gonna touch people. And
it already be working for real, for real.
Okay, so tell us more. So start from the beginning. Like, tell us about your God journey. So if you started off doing secular music and living however you was living, dealing with whoever you was dealing with, what was the transition, or what was the
Marcus
thing that made you be like, I don't want to do this no more, Marcus?
Being around them.
Okay, so you started working with somebody different, and it showed you a different way of
like
life?
When I started traveling with them, I started just noticing the difference in the people. Like, I was way more comfortable because whenever I'm out of town with like our culture type music, I always felt insecure because I didn't have the chains, I didn't have the money. Because I never was into fashion and stuff like that, but I just feel insecure. Like when I'm around that, we always need guns, we always need drugs. I always got a woman, but it's always women at the house. Like, so it just was a whole, and it was fine because it's what I'm used to. But when I was introduced to something new, I was like, okay, I don't know what this is. Like, I don't even know these people, and they happy for me, they smiling at me, they praying for me. So I was like, okay, this is kind of cool. But the way that worked with Marcus, like I said, he'd been around from the beginning, but Strack was his engineer. So probably like 7 years into knowing him, he had reached out to me to mix his music. So I mixed his music, and then we just hit it off from there. So the whole, because, all right, my grandma on my dad's side told me about God a long time ago. But I was 6, like, in the church. I didn't know what she was talking about or none of that. But over time, it seems like God is a part of everybody's conversation, whether you believe it or not. So it's just part of the conversation, really. But I never really know who he was, what it was. And then, you know, I'm 21, 22 or whatever, all this manifest your life and all that stuff come out. So I started believing stuff like that because I didn't believe in Jesus. I didn't, because of what the world would tell me. Like, I really didn't believe in him. So anything that had to do with Jesus, I was like, well, whatever. I used to argue with people about it.
Yeah, because in one of your quotes from Too Much Trauma, so you have a song called Too Much Trauma, and you actually say, I really hated Jesus, used to treat him as my nemesis. So, like, you really hated Jesus?
It was, I feel like I did, because anytime somebody brought his name up, I would get upset or angry, because it's like every time he was mentioned to me, it was mentioned in a manner to show me what I'm not. That's how I felt. I feel like I'm being, if I feel being compared to somebody who's perfect, it's like I don't even want to hear about it. You know what I'm saying? Then, you know, religious conversations always get deep and they get emotional and aggressive and all that. So I was always on the other side of the fence on that discussion. Like,
feeling attacked.
If God was this, then why he let all the kids? Like, I had all the knowledge in my head to disprove him. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of where I was at with my life. Like, and then I actually have Black Jesus tattooed on my arm because I'm a kind person. So people used to call me that, especially when I got the dreads and stuff. But I didn't know no better. Like, all right, so as far as Marcus knows I'm a good artist. So when he would come record his music, he would ask me to get on the songs, right? And a part of me felt fake because I'm like, bro, I don't even believe it like at all. But what I did on the music was address all the questions that I had with God, like anything I wanted to say to him. Because as an artist, I don't have to be in a relationship to make a relationship song. So I don't have to be a Christian to make a Christian song, right? So what I did was I would just, you know, do verses, later verses, speak my piece, say how I felt, just make sure I don't curse, disrespect, and all that stuff like that. But what that ended up doing was, it's my music, so I play it a lot. And the more I play it, it's a different intake than the shoot 'em up, bang, bang, just this and that. It's like, it just started like ministering to my life in general. And I was feeling like the tug on my heart for real, but I didn't want to be fake with God, because I was like, I done heard all this stuff about the J not being this and he's not God and all this other stuff. So it's like,
Jay, like Jay-Z.
No, like as far as like people saying Jesus isn't even a real thing because the J wasn't introduced and like all that stuff. I had all this stuff in my mind. So I was feeling conflicted about the music, and I would so like I said, listening to the music every day allowed it to minister to me to the point that it was literally tugging on my heart. But at the same time, I was conflicted. So I was like, I don't want to come out as no Christian, but I feel fake for being on the music at the same time. But the one thing Marcus would always tell me is he would say like, yo, you're too talented to not be famous. Like, I personally feel like God is holding you for himself. So I would not really pay attention to it because I didn't really know. So he started traveling and stuff, and he wanted me to come on the road with him and stuff, so we would go to different churches. I seen a demon get casted out for the first time. I'm in that joint tripping. I'm like, yo, Eric, because like, people was like clapping, and I'm like, yo, I don't understand if we looking at the same stuff right now.
Right,
like,
yeah.
I was scared.
I'm trying to get gone. I'm absolutely trying to get gone. I want to see that.
And then, so yeah, it was just tugging on my heart a little bit. Good. And then I was on a flight one time. I was going to Chicago. And I was thinking to myself, like, yo, if this plane went down today, I'm probably going to go to hell. So that's when I made my decision to get baptized.
Ooh, had another chill. Lord.
You know what I'm saying? So I made my decision to get baptized because I wanted to show God that I'm serious about what I'm feeling. I wasn't even all the way really committed, but I made my decision on the plane that day. So ever since then, I used to come home, research everything. Because it was when I went to church, the conviction was so real that I went home and tried to disprove it. By looking up debates like Muslim, because I wanted to know what was real. Like I didn't want to just because I don't want to be doing the wrong thing if I'm gonna make a decision like this. So I looked up everything I could, and the only thing I could find that almost made me not make my decision was something called ancient Kemetic science. Yeah. But that wasn't enough to change my mind, and it's just been a journey ever since then.
Okay, so essentially your journey with music and the people that you connected with music is what led you to God.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
What do you feel like your God journey was like?
Well, I was raised in church. I'm talking about raised in church. Sunday service. Well, before Sunday service. Sunday school. Sunday service. Sometimes two. I'm ushering. I'm in the choir. I'm a basketball praise dancer. I'm on the church basketball team. Then we doing Bible study on Wednesday. Like we was in church, but I'm in church because my parents are making me be in church. Mm-hmm. And while I'm in church, if I'm being honest with you, I'm socializing. I'm hanging with my church friends. Like, and I'm not really paying attention if I'm being honest with you. Like, it's certain things that you remember because they talk about it so much. But I never went to church when I was growing up to go to church to learn. Like that was never the point. But then I got older, and certain things stick with you. So I learned how to pray. I learned about the Bible, but I've never been a Bible studier, if that's even a word. But I've never been the type to study the Bible. I'm not really good with like scripture, like remembering scriptures and things of that sort. Like, how people can just quote that thing off, and I'm like, nah, hold on. I know it's somewhere, but I don't know what book it's in. But they said something like this. I'm gonna mess it up, right? But you get the point.
I think it's Philippians.
Yeah, like that's me to this day, and I study the Bible, and I try to study much more now. But I'm something about remembering certain things I just can't. But,
I'm not great.
I take what I need from it, and then I just go ahead. But then so I grew up in church, but I never really had a relationship with God. I knew how to do certain things as a Christian. I believed that there was a higher power. I believed in God. I believed that when you're, and this is how I always looked at it, when you're in trouble or when you can't get help from your mom or your dad or the people around you, you call on God.
Absolutely.
And that was the basis of what I learned and what I took from it. Not up until 2019 did I want to seek God and seek a relationship with God and really learn about him and know truly what I was supposed to take and how I was really supposed to move.
What was going on in your life at the time that made you make that decision?
If I'm being honest with you, I linked up with a coworker and we was working together and she was just so into it. And I just saw her confidence. Her confidence was crazy. Like, she was the most confident person I ever met to this day, and she always talked about God. Everything she said was God this, God that. And it wasn't on the like you need to be or you need to. It was just she just talked about God, like, and it didn't come off how I felt like church was. Like, it was so do this, do that, this way, or you're going to hell. And she won't like that. And she wasn't even trying to be like that. That's just how she spoke because that's the type of believer she was. And it made me really want to just double down on it. Like, yeah, I see God through you. Like, I see what that looks like. That looks amazing. Let me go ahead and see what this relationship is supposed to look like. And that's how I started in 2019. And then, yeah, me and God been rocking ever since. Heavy. Like, we've been rocking heavy ever since. Like, yeah, prayer life got better. I understand the Bible better. I know how to now when I don't understand stuff, I know how to seek understanding of it. And yeah, like that's my dog. Like for real, like
big guy, not the little one.
Big guy, not the little one.
So
Not the
about
little
you?
one. Brittany, I was say, what your journey look like?
Well, everybody,
Girl, I am not doing this with you.
I'm trying to. Okay, I feel like my journey, yours is pretty complex as well, but mine is more complex than yours. I feel like I've always had a yearning for God. So like I always felt like I needed God, and I needed to get to know him, but more from a conviction place. Like I remember I was actually little. We was in Pear at your house, and it was thunderstorming real bad. And I had like the Sunday before, I was with my grandma, and we went to church, and the pastor was talking about Revelation and hellfire and damnation, all that type of stuff.
Revelation is scary.
Yeah, it's scary as hell. Like I don't want to hear that shit at like
Right.
whatever age I'm at. Like it's terrifying. So anyway, I'm at his house, and my daddy came to pick us up, and it's a thunderstorm. I'm like, Daddy, and he's like, what's wrong? I'm like, we going to hell, Daddy. And he like, what? I just went to church with Grandma Sunday. They said, oh, hell gonna break loose. And look at this storm. Like, we going to hell, Daddy. We don't go to church. So he said we ain't going to hell or whatever. But like that was the majority of my childhood. Like it was like conviction. Like you're supposed to live a certain type of way. You're supposed to do a certain type of thing. Or you're going to hell. Like you gotta live like Jesus and the nuns and the Pope, or you're going to hell. So it wasn't anything gravitating me towards God. It was more so keeping me in a fear-based posture, which wasn't it wasn't helpful for my spiritual growth at all. If anything, it really pushed me away from God for a long time. So in another episode, I talk about my mental health battles or whatever. So in the midst of my mental health battles, I realized that I really needed God. Like I remember I heard a song or read a quote or something, and it was like, God is who he says he is. And that was like profound for me, because it was just like, okay, God is love. God is the truth. God is our comforter, our protector, our navigator, our shepherd, all of these things. And like, I realized I really needed a belief in a higher power in order to assist me in getting through life, and to make sure, not to make sure, but like to help me be happy. Like nothing of this world was going to make me happy. And it was like a stronghold, like pulled on me, like this world ain't gonna do it ever. So like if you really want to get out of anxiety, depression, this loop you've been in for 20 something years, the only thing that's gonna take you out of that is God.
Right, you either check out or check in. For sure.
And I was over here like, God, we talked sometime before, but today I'm here like for real. Like I'm here for real. And I took some time to do a whole bunch of other stuff. Like I don't actually consider myself a Christian. Only because my belief system is really complex. So I feel like if I'm talking to a real Christian, like what, kind of like a Bible thumper, I wouldn't fit in the mold of what a Christian is. Because yes, I pray to Jesus. Everything is in Jesus' name. When I want to look for a word or clarity or advice or wisdom or anything like that, I turn to my devotional, and I turn to the Bible. I turn to my favorite scriptures. However, I'm really complex. Like I believe in karma, which is a Buddhist thing. I meditate. I burn sage. I do all of that, mainly because in my search to find God, I needed to figure out what that relationship was, because I wasn't from the church, and I didn't have anybody in my life like you did, like pointing me. So like I needed to figure out like what feels good to me. And I feel like sometimes people condemn that. Like they make it seem like, okay, well, why are you doing this or why are you doing that? That's not of whatever they think God is. But to me, whatever brings you closer to God is cool with me. And at that moment, I needed something tangible. Like I'm depressed. I'm anxiety ridden. I'm without a compass navigating life. And so like even if I was burning sage, walking around the house praying to Jesus the whole time. Please God, it was sort of in my mind it's the same way they do.
Hand in hand.
It was the same way they do with like when you doing holy water and you opening the windows and you getting the spirits out. It's the same thing. It's this indigenous and it's in a different form, and it helped me. I needed a ritual. I needed something that I was tangibly walking around and doing, and other than just praying, because just praying or just reading wasn't gonna work for me at all in that moment of my life, because I was in a state of quite desperation. So like I needed that, and really as much controversy or whatever witchcraft as everybody say about burning sage and everything, that really brought me closer to God in a lot of ways. And I know that probably sound real crazy to you because I know how you feel.
I listen to the book, but I'm not here to judge nobody. But I would like to talk to you about that type of stuff separate though.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm not you. It is what it is, and that's when we get to the favorite verse part, I'll be able to break down why I say the things I say.
Yeah. Okay. But so yeah, I went through all of that. And eventually, I don't burn sage like that no more. I don't use my crystals and stuff like that no more, because at first I thought that was my thing that I did to connect to God, and now I know, and now I feel like I don't need the middleman.
You never did.
I literally was about to say that,
and deception. I know I never did.
It's deception, so it has to go.
Right. You said it's what?
Deception.
Deception.
Yep.
Okay. Well,
because if I'm the devil, if I can get you to believe in anything, if I could get you to believe it, Jesus said I'm the only way. Mm-hmm. So any other way can't be the way.
But how is, if I'm burning sage and I'm praying the entire time in Jesus' name, talking to God.
But what are you burning the sage for is the question.
Because I'm burning the sage.
To chase demons out of the house?
Not to chase demons
That's what people say. I'm asking. So I'm
to
asking
get negative energy and spirits out the house. Is that no different than holy water?
I never use holy water.
Okay, but there are things, holy water, people keep it in their purse.
Right.
And they will come in your house and get this spraying you, telling you, because they have prayed over it, God is in it now. And if they come in and they get to doing the holy water or whatever, it's bringing God into space. So when I bought my bundle of sage or whatever, I pray over it. I feel like, okay, so God gave us water. They do holy water. God gave us sage. Okay, God, so I've got this thing.
I understand that. All right, so question. The quote you saw that made you push closer to God was, I am who I say I am, right?
Yes.
He never said none of that other stuff. He condemns all the other stuff. So just stick to that quote and just keep pushing towards that. Like, if he is who he say he is, what else do you need?
And that's what kind of made me like, I don't necessarily need this.
Right. 'Cause that's why I say it's like deception, because that's what all the churches and the denominations and all that, the way I check myself when it comes to God is like, I ask myself like, just certain things like, if, like, I'm trying to even just word what I'm trying to say, because I don't want to get into that type of conversation, but, this is what it was, is if I was the devil, right? Mm-hmm. The biggest hater of all time, because I can't get back into heaven.
He's a hater.
I would ask, how much stuff would I do to try to curve people away from what's true? So if I can tell people that they can burn sage and get negative energy out their crib, mm-hmm. and it spreads like people start doing it like crazy. My wife was doing it. She started coming in the crib with crystals. So it's like, what would I do to make you not focus on Jesus and only Jesus? I would do stuff like make you burn sage. I would do stuff, maybe even a holy water. I haven't read nothing. Only holy water I seen Jesus talk about was, you drink from this well, you'll never thirst again. I've never seen him.
Right.
I seen the olive oil thing, but I don't personally.
They anoint everything. It's like oil and water.
So I'm not at a place where I can speak on that type of stuff, but I do say, like, as far as like sage and crystals and stuff, my thing is like even with like the Virgo stuff, and I don't condemn nobody for it, but my thing is if like when it comes to a Pisces, right? If I let the stars or whatever the case define me, then that's a different definition of what God's saying I am. So I would rather go with what He say I am than any like the stars is His creation. They got their own definition. I'm the only Rick Rogers, like, and I'm whatever He say I am, and I stick with that. I can't, cause why would I be defined by anything else? Like that's just me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then I understand like the thing with like with the whole Pisces thing because. Oh, Pisces, the freakiest, nastiest people ever in the world. Like
I thought it was Scorpio.
I mean, whatever they say, but I'm just saying, like, whatever it's whatever it says, what you identify with. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's just I choose not to. I don't want to identify with nothing but as a son of God, like, cause that's just it. I don't want nothing else.
What I did want to say to what you said was what I noticed with you and me too, because I tried to get into it, but for some reason I could not like. Stay with it, but I've noticed that the deeper that you've gotten into like your devotions and things of that sort, you have kind of like done away with that.
That's a fact.
And I'm not. I don't want to say I'm not that deep in it because I don't want it to seem like a surface level believer. But I just try to not. I try not to find myself on the wrong side of the debate in a sense. I got some advice. It was from my cousin, and it was from her grandma. And we was talking about certain Bible stories in the Bible. And I was just like, but that doesn't even make sense. Like, logically, that just does not make sense. And the advice she was always giving is, I try not to get too deep into that. I just take what I need to take from the lesson so that come the day, I don't find myself on the wrong side of the debate. I'm gonna say the debate.
If it led you closer to him, then that's fine. But still check with him about it, though. You know what I'm saying? And that's pretty much why I would leave it at. I remember Noonie got into the witchcraft stuff. I was like, I don't want no parts of that.
Noonie is his wife.
I'm good. You can do what you want. I love you. I support you. But I'm not about to go outside, make no circle with no rocks, no moon, no nothing. I ain't even believe in God at that time. Like I believed in God, higher power thing, but the whole Bible thing. But like that just
this ain't feel right.
Nah. It just seemed weird. Like, I don't know how you can make witchcraft sound good at all.
I mean, witchcraft, if you believe in God, doesn't sound good.
Witchcraft is manipulation. So even when we lie to each other, that's witchcraft. Because now I'm manipulating your mind. I'm deceiving you. So it's, so we all are under, like, witchcraft for real.
Well, moving on. So, society, I want to talk about society, media, and the music business in terms of God. In religion and faith. So I feel like at a certain point, it seemed as if society, at least Western culture, meaning the United States, was moving away from religion and faith and things like that. It seemed like everybody was moving more towards what you would call witchcraft or spirituality and things like that. So I think that we are coming... not full circle, but I think that overall we're coming back together. Like, people are coming, the generation or the people that were lost in the church because of the old ways of how they did church and how they talked about the word and stuff are coming back. And I think our generation on down.
Yeah, we part of that.
Yeah, I think we are a part of that, which I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I came back.
You came back.
I went to church, like I told you, to socialize, but at the same time, a lot of that had to do with how they acted. It's like, it's no way God is love and y'all acting like this.
Fact.
And that's just truly how I just always looked at it. I was like, I don't understand. Like, at the same time, we're all humans. But it was just certain things that just wasn't right about the church. Like, we left the church because it just was like, what's going on?
And it's even the same now. Like, even with churches, pride and stuff is always kind of going to be a part of the equation. It don't matter if you're a follower of Christ or not. Like, it's hard. It's kind of hard to undo some of this stuff. I still got to check myself about it to this day. So,
what you said?
Pride.
Tried to listen.
Just pride.
What was your lyric? You said tried to listen, but
I
couldn't. Pride was in it.
Yeah. That's what it was.
Yeah. Yeah. And I can always pick it up. You can always see it when somebody is like being prideful and stuff. But the Bible verse, I have another one, but the one that always check me is the whole log in the eye thing. That's what keeps me out of comments on Facebook and stuff, because I just was fussing at my
Can you
wife.
say what that verse is for the people who don't know?
Got you right here.
Come on.
Which one is it?
Oh, that highlighting you got up in there. You don't actually.
Okay, so here it goes. It's Matthew 7, verse number 3. It's saying, "Why worry about a speck in your friend's eye when you have a log in your own? How can you think of saying to your friend, 'Let me help you get rid of that speck in your eye,' when you can't see past the log in your own eye?"
Facts. Basically, don't judge.
Meaning
Mind your own business.
unless you're perfect as him, you really shouldn't have much to say. Like, you should only just be loving, and that's really it.
Drink your water, mind your business, and that's that. That's what I got from that.
Right.
Basically.
And that's what's, like I said, anytime I wanted to get into a debate on, it's like, I can't even tell nobody what's right or wrong, because I'm not really doing what's right or wrong. All I can tell you, Jesus love you. He want to hear from you. High, drunk, whatever, he want to hear from you. That's really all I really got to say to you.
And I think the modern churches and pastors and stuff like Sarah Jakes Roberts and Torrey Roberts and Keon, Pastor Keon and Philip, Pastor
Anthony Mitchell.
Mitchell. Like, I feel like the whole wave, this new generation of pastors. Is Marcus Rogers a pastor? And Marcus Rogers is like being that thing where you can be more transparent. It's like, come as you are, find God. Like, this is who God is. This is who Jesus is. We're accepting, I guess.
Open to everybody.
And we're open.
Even to the enemies. Like, it be people in his church that really be wanting to do him in, like, and
that's crazy.
He still be up there bold talking trash to him. Like, I be like, it's crazy.
Good job, sir. Keep up the good work.
Right.
You like, you religious folks mad in the back because Jesus. Get this strap.
That's crazy. Because, seriously, that is so crazy, because that is what I like. That is what literally gets me tuned in. The people we just named kind of have a.
They got a special place.
Yeah, because it's more of like a aggressive. I'm coming for your neck, and I love that type of preaching because. Well, I'm just an aggressive person anyway.
You are,
right? But it's just something about just being raw and uncut. Like, it's something about that, because I've heard I feel like I've grew up listening to the antics of the and no disrespect to anybody, but I just felt like it was just the dramatics and the theatrics, and it just was like so okay.
I feel
and
like
that's
it's
really
part of it a little bit.
It is.
It's as a pastor, there's certain things that you do. It's
because
like,
you
it's
are
part
still
of
in front of people. You got to keep people's attention. I get that, but it was more. I felt. This is just my own. I always felt like it was rehearsed instead of it just letting God use your tongue. I always felt growing up that any pastor that I heard, and granted, I've got some words growing up. I ain't gonna say every situation, but majority of the situation when I left was just like, I just felt like you just put on a show.
Right.
As opposed to trying to really reach your people. And it was just, I don't know. It was just.
And coming from a person who is not raised in church can be a strange place when you're walking in and you don't know the church life.
Yeah.
Like, it's extremely uncomfortable. You get in because you don't really know what you're doing. You walk in and everybody they talk to you as if you know what's going on. So they get to singing, you like, okay, you came here to hear a sermon, but they singing first,
and everybody singing the song.
And everybody singing the song.
I don't know this song.
I don't know this song. I never know the songs in church.
Me either.
So I immediately, back then, especially, I'm uncomfortable. I'm out of place. So I don't even, I'm kind of over it before it even gets started. And then after the song, the man come up, usually, and he get to talking, and then you ask me for some money. You ain't even did the sermon first. It's my first time here. And you do this whole long spiel, saying some verse I ain't never heard, some scripture, and telling me how I need telling me how I need to give you some money because I'm supposed to, if I give you this, I'm supposed to get something out of it. Almost like gambling. I give you 20, I'm supposed to get 40. That's how they make it sound to a person who was not raised in church.
Right.
It's like, plant this seed so you can get the like.
The theatrics.
Yes, and it's
No. I feel you.
It's confusing. Like I would leave like I'm good on this.
Also, another thing, and this is not the segment to obviously pinpoint, oh, this is what the church do, but it really turned me off. But I had to learn also with my God journey now and finding my relationship with God that I'm an intimate worshiper. So that whole praise and worship segment of the church, I actually have always been uncomfortable with that because I've actually wanted to. I know the song and I want to sing out loud, but my mouth is closed. Like, I can't do it. That's because I've learned now that I'm an intimate worshiper. Like, when by myself, and I could be around people, but just in that, when I'm uncomfortable, and unfortunately the church has made me uncomfortable, I can't sing out. I can't. It's just something that stops me. And that's one thing I do like about, I guess, the people that I follow now, whatever. I don't know. I just feel way more comfortable. I'm
just now starting to at least sing the songs out loud. Because most of the time when I first started going, I was really just filming for real. Like, taking pictures all the time, stuff like that. But I always try to find at least a good 10 minutes to close my eyes and, like, talk to God, you know, get whatever I got to get off my chest and stuff like that. But now I be getting more into it. He be pass me the microphone. I get up there and bust my little freestyle or something, make up a little worship song or something like that. So I kind of get it. Like, the way Marcus do it, he do the worship session. Like, he don't start the sermon until he can feel the presence of God in the building. So and no one gets mad at him in church because sometimes they go longer than what it's supposed to. Like, the worship will go for an hour. Like, if he don't feel the presence of God, he's not starting that. Though. He's like, yo, until y'all let God know he's welcome in here, we're not starting. But it's old, black, young, babies, white, blue. Every single type of person is in there, and everybody's on one accord for the most part. Maybe not in their head, but outwardly it looks like everybody's on one accord. So even when the worship is pushing in for an hour, we be really, really into the joint. It just be fun. It's lit. It's not normal. Ain't nobody like a Holy Ghost. We be turned up in that joint, like, for real. Yeah, like,
and that make a difference.
It's mad fun.
So what is it? Because you have a title track called "I Miss My Trip to Chicago" or whatever. So what is it?
I love that song, by the way.
Yes.
I love that.
So, like, what is it about Chicago and what Marcus is doing there that's so special to you?
I mean, I known him when he was secular too, and I know a little bit of his life story, what he been through, military, homelessness, and all of that stuff. So it's just seeing what God doing in his life and knowing that he's a good person, like, I feel like I'm his protector sometimes, like, but that's not why I go. But it's like, I'll shoot somebody for him, like, if I have to, because he's been so good to me. Like, he's been such a pivotal part of what I'm doing in my life. He's always blessing me more when he paid for sessions. He's always going the extra mile, like.
Right. So,
but it's just the Chicago is like, I haven't been to church since I was a kid, so that's like the first church I went to.
Since you were a kid?
Maybe once.
Damn.
I tried to go to a Jehovah's Witness church in Florida. First thing I see on the wall was the end is near. I said, I'll turn around to get out of here. Like,
you saw what?
The end is near. Like, that's not the first thing I want to see. I get it now, but that's just like, you're not about to scare tactic me into believing in anything, right? So I turned around from that, but I did get a Bible from them. So when we moved back to Virginia, I would try to go to a Baptist church with Strap. And they was like, yo, what are you doing with that? Like, that's the wrong Bible. Like, So it made me feel, I'm like, yo, if this is what God's about, I don't want. That's when I turned away.
Right.
Because it made me feel like I'm not a blood or a crip with a flag. Like, it's a Bible. But I didn't know. I didn't know. So it really turned me away. But like I said, Marcus Church is just super fun. They super supportive. And I don't have a church home here. So, like, I literally drive 12 hours sometimes just to, because this is my recharge. Like, I go to church, I get recharged, I get in the spirit, I do all this, and then I got to come home and fight the spiritual warfare on my own. I could call them, but it's not the same as being around it. So for me, it's literally like my recharge.
Fellowship, that community.
And I love seeing people, like, now that I understand what, like, demons being casted out mean, but they don't do that they don't do it during church. They do it after, like, in a private room, stuff like that. But just the whole idea of people, like, a room full of people that's not afraid to be vulnerable, because all our life we've been taught we can't be, especially as men. Like, you be taught you can't be. So I just feel at home in that joint. Like, I can go in there, I can cry, I can get it off my chest, I can talk to anybody that's in there, and it just feel good. So it's my recharge. Like, I go to, and I be feeling like God gonna give me a church one day, but I'm not rushing it. It's this big building by my crib. Every time I pass it, I just feel like telling me that's gonna be yours. You know what I'm saying?
You heard
But
it
I
here
don't know.
first.
I don't know yet. I don't know. That's why I be trying to study, just trying to learn what I learned. I'm gonna just do whatever God trying to do with me, for real.
I think I love like the wave of like the gospel rap music. I don't know what it's called. Gospel rap music.
The way we look
Trap
at it,
rap,
we
trap
taking it back.
Gospel. Yeah, like
we taking it back.
I think it's gonna bring a whole lot of people closer to God, because of that. Between the gospel rap music, the podcast everybody is having, because I probably wouldn't know who Tim Ross is, for example. You know who Tim Ross is? Yeah. The Basement podcast. Yeah. It's great. So the Tim Rosses and the Dan Molars or whatever. I don't know who that person. Dan
Molly's a
Dan
white guy.
Moeller. Okay, white guy. Well, it just seemed like this new age. I am gravitating more towards them because they're more transparent.
Right.
They're going to tell you what they have battled with, what their struggles was, how they grew up, what they struggle with today, what they was dealing with this week. Right. And like that makes what they're saying hit different for me.
Right, because it makes Christianity not seem like this perfect thing you have to be. That was something that drove me away, because I'm like, I could never be perfect anyway. What do I want to do it for? But that's one of the things I'm using my music for. Like, that was one of the first times I felt like God gave me a vision. Is like, one day I was sitting downstairs, I was making music, still kind of like, this is after I got baptized. I was still kind of like undecided, like fresh off of looking up debates and everything like that. I started making music. I looked outside. I seen trees. I seen birds. I seen clouds. I'm like, yo, that's a fire painting if it was one, but it's not one. So I like started crying, because I'm like, yo, you've been a fool your whole life. Like, you've been trying to be God your whole life. Like, you're being unappreciative. You know what I'm saying? So I was in my mood, crying or whatever, and I was asking God what you want me to do with the music. And he was like, what came to my head was like, yo, if Noah can build an ark to save the world, you can at least build a bridge from your community to me. So that's what I'm trying to do with my music.
That's some good stuff.
So the first song on my album, the Ricky Miyagi 4, is called Build a Bridge, because that's like what I got from it, for real. And I know it can work, because when I listen to a lot of Christian music, it's like the same thing you saying about podcasts, how they get deep into it. They don't do that with Christian music. It's just all holy, holy God. Da, da, da. Like, I want to know.
Or it's like it's just plainly saying I'm sad.
Right.
Truth is I'm tired.
And so I feel like my whole point was to get on my music and be super vulnerable, so the average trap person can hear it and feel like he can relate to it. Because if you hear truth is I'm tired, you niggas like, I don't hear that. I can't relate to it. Right. So,
or if either I can't relate to it or it makes me sad. Like, a lot of times I won't listen to certain gospel songs because it makes me sad.
Right.
I don't want to listen to
Seriously.
that song. I was
though.
just saying, what's her name? What's her name? Truth is I'm tired, girl.
Take Me to the King.
Take Me to the King is a sad ass song.
Yeah, it is.
That don't make me feel any closer to God. It don't make me feel good at all.
Yeah.
Take Me to the King, because I'm tired. Like, seriously.
I be bumping worship music, though, sometimes.
I mean, I like worship
when I'm feeling
music.
bad, when I am feeling bad and I need
and I want to feel
something, I play the worship music.
Yes.
It takes me there, but it pulls me out.
Same.
That's to me the biggest difference in secular and rap. Secular music just take you there and then leave you there.
Not all secular.
To me, from what I know, like a Rod Wave or something like that. Like, I love Rod Wave, but your music just take me there down this road of depression and it just leave me there. Like,
I have
certain Christian music will take you there and then it'll pull you out of it at the same time.
And certain secular music will too.
I wouldn't. I mean, I tried.
You don't know.
I tried with my music.
Well,
it didn't work.
There are a lot of songs, R&B, country, rock, rap, where they're actually uplifting songs. So you haven't heard them, or they don't work for you.
Man, you know I've heard uplifting music.
Yeah, but it really helps lift you. I have an entire playlist. It's all secular. It's no gospel. That's all uplifting music.
When I first told my homeboy, one of the boys I used to argue with about Christianity, when I first told him I was going to commit my life to God and only make Christian music, he like, I don't think you should sway away from the music you used to make. Because I never was really bang, bang, shoot 'em up. I was always in my feelings trying to figure out a way to help someone else get through their depression. You know what I'm saying? But it's like I just can't picture myself doing anything other than using my real story to glorify God, because I could give you all the tips and pointers or whatever, but it always come back down to you either gonna check out or check in. So it's like you can make secular music that's positive and uplift you for the moment, but at the end of the day, you gonna want to check out, like, because it doesn't have a healing factor to it. It has a comforting factor to it, but it doesn't have that healing factor to it. Because my music was comforting, you know what I'm saying? Everybody relate, like, yo, I've been crying in my car too. Like, yeah, that's cool, but now I'm trying to pull you out of it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So,
that's different. I get it. Okay, so speaking of that, I think there is a thing like called Godfidence that they talk about in social media a lot. So it's confidence, but Godfidence, like having a certain type of confidence and stature about yourself because of your belief in God or whatever. And I think based off the music that I've listened to from you and my own personal experience and what I know about you so far, that we are like walking testimonies of that being a real thing. Like you can struggle with depression or whatever it is, whatever your trials are, but the moment you find a faith in something that you can hold on to and something that can help build you up and heal you, it actually gives you a whole different like way you move and how you walk into a room and how you approach things.
Yeah, because this podcast wouldn't be popping with me if not.
Listen,
like,
me either.
Yeah, I agree with that. 100%.
Because even with so I do poetry, everybody. So when your wife asked me to do the festival, so his wife had a festival or whatever, and she asked me to do a poem at the festival, and I was about to say no. I actually told her I can't do it or whatever, but because I had already told God, like, God, whatever you bring my way, I'll do it. I'm not going to hide my gifts. I'm not going to hide behind anything. I'm not going to shrink myself. I'm not going to be small because I'm your child and you are who you say you are. And I know that you are within me, so I could do anything. And then, so it talked me out of that whole, because without how I was moving with God at that time, I would have just not did it. I'd be like, no, Rick, yes.
The first event, remember she had two. Because it got rained on. What was happening when it rained?
Wind, thunder, and lightning.
The girl set up all the crystals and everything on the stage. Like,
I am not.
This is after she got back. That's the first thing I said because I was like,
it was already in the forecast, ladies and gentlemen. It was not.
It didn't even rain nowhere else. We went to Williamsburg. It's sunny and dry.
Well, it only rained for like 20 minutes anyway.
Because God said, "This ain't what I want you to do."
Well, in the day before weather forecast, it said possibility of rain. I just want to put that out there. I mean, you could.
It could have rained, but it could have rained when anybody else was performing. Other people went on before that. The minute she was finna go, that joke turned dark and it went crazy. Everybody stuff got rained on and it was a wrap.
It was. And
I'm cool with her. I love her. If she see this, hey. I don't believe in coincidences no more because I believe in God.
What happened? What happened? Oh, today it rained.
But that's exactly what happened. Yeah, it got rained out. But
it rained for real.
So you had a quote in one of your songs called "Victiming."
Victiming, yeah.
Okay, yeah, because I thought that you did a misspell. I thought it was victimizing.
I made it up.
Yeah, I thought so because I was like, this isn't quite right.
No, yeah, victiming. I had to make it work in the song, so I just named the song that.
Yeah. Okay, so you say, I probably wouldn't have hated me if I knew you was loving me. That's a verse in that song.
Right.
So that reminds me of this Godfidence thing because it's like, if you really know how much you are loved and what your purpose is and what you are supposed to do and how much you are covered and all that type of stuff, it might help you. It will help you through a lot of the things that you feel like you're going through. You will feel like God, like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what you're trying to do. I don't know what you're trying to teach me, but like I'm here for it. And I know you're gonna cover me, and I know you're gonna carry me through, and I know that there's a greater purpose through whatever this is, and it kind of gives you hope. Mm-hmm. It really gives you hope, I think.
Hope, right, and then your no's or your rejections or your denials ain't gonna hit as hard. It's like, okay, it's not a failure. It's just, let's rework this. Let's get even if it is looked at as a failure, like, okay, but you know that there's still hope that we're gonna get to that point. So yeah, I feel like when you know who loves you, right? Like, you know whose child you are, you belong to. When you know who you belong to, absolutely. When you know who you belong to, you just move different.
That's where the confidence comes from, really, like, because that's why I said, like, I only identify with what he called me. So whatever you got to say, it don't even matter to me at this point. It's like, okay, all right, yeah, I messed up. Okay, cool. He still love me. Pat on the back, son, just do better. Like, and that's much better than sitting in my garage all the time crying, ready to end my life. Right. And that's why when I try to watch an episode, it hit me like way too hard because I'm like, yo, like, for one, when you going through dark times, you really think you're the only one. So, really, like, you wouldn't know at all for 10 years I've been wanting to end my life or sitting in my garage crying or on the way from studio crying. No matter how it looked, it always looked good on the internet. Mm-hmm. But in my real life, it was, like, really bad. Like, I always felt rejected. Like, even with the community, like, with the rappers, I did everything for everybody. I go extra hours. I go overtime. I give discounts. I don't see my kids just to get this done, and then I never get no type of love in return. If anything, I get more hate than anything. Mm-hmm. So I just always felt rejected. Different women, I felt rejected. All this other stuff, I just always felt rejected my whole life. I always felt like I was living in the wrong type of world because I'm like, yo, everything that's supposed to be right is wrong, and then vice versa. Mm-hmm. And I just always felt like I never fit in. That's why I love Christianity so much. I was like, okay, I was never tripping the whole time, even though I had my own faults and everything, but me feeling that everything was backwards, I was right. Mm-hmm. I just didn't know why, but I was definitely right.
Right. Oh, me too.
I feel that's why I love being around Christians. I don't care about them not being perfect because I'm not looking for you to be perfect, but I'm cool with you being vulnerable. I'm cool with you being as honest as I think you are, and I'm cool with you always having an advice that's not your own. Like, they always give me guys advice on what the Bible might say. It's never like it's just so crazy how, like, every breakup I ever had or whatever, if you talk to your friends about it, man, leave that. Man, there's more women out here. Like, Christians do not say stuff like that. My homeboys be like, well, did you love on her when she got mad? And I'm like, dang, I can't even be mad at her no more. Right. You know what I'm saying?
They give you a whole different perspective on how you're supposed to move.
Everybody else in the world would literally advise you to leave what you have built. You know what I'm saying? But Christians is just a whole different outlook. So I'm like, man, even if we wrong, I'm going to be wrong on this side. I don't want to be wrong on this side no more.
I do feel like loving God makes you a better person. Like, it changes how you move and how you see things.
I would agree. God is love.
Because God is love.
That's just...
And he defines it. The world can't. You can put 20 of us in the room, we have a different definition of it. Mm-hmm. That's I don't know, I just see, he opened my eyes, and only thing I want to do is let the transformation in my life help other people do it. It's already been working. Like, it's like, even after saying, you know what, cause I told you I watched debates to try to disprove it. Mm-hmm. Even after being convinced, I still would wake up Sunday like, man, this ain't real. Like, yeah, because I just don't want to be wrong. Like, especially when it come to going to heaven and hell, I just don't want to be doing the wrong thing. But I remember one time we was in Chicago. I actually was recording Marcus Christian music, and I'm still sitting there like, man, I don't want to be making the wrong decision. Like, I'm changing my music, I'm changing me, like, feeling wrong, right? Yeah, and then this girl that I had met a while back, she texted me, she sent me a DM on Instagram, and she was like, y'all, just want to thank you because the clip you posted about, it was a song that I did, it's like, she said it just stopped her from killing herself. You know what I'm saying? Because she was like, her friend had just killed herself like 2 nights ago, and she couldn't do it no more. And she was gonna kill herself the next day, so she actually attempted to do it. I guess she choked herself out or something like that. Her daughter found her laid on the ground. She went to a neighbor. The neighbor happened to be like a nurse, so he brought whatever he did, brought her back. Mm-hmm. But she still was gonna end her life. So the next day she was finna do it, but she was like, I was gonna call my mom and hear her voice one more time before I ended my life, but her phone died. So when she plugged the phone up, she went to Instagram, and the first thing popped up was my song, and she been fighting with that song ever since. So I'm like, all right, God, you got it. Like, you know what I'm saying? If this is what it's about, I don't want nothing else. Like, I can't think of nothing else that feels better than that. You know what I'm saying?
Feeling like you're doing what you're here to do.
I mean, what else could I
be more
possibly
fulfilling.
be? Yeah, like what's better than that? Like, yo, something I did just saved someone else's life. And then what I love about Christianity is like it takes all the focus off of you. Like when you go to a secular rap event, it's this clique for that person, this clique for that person, which means we're not gonna support you, we're not gonna support you. But at a Christian rap event, everybody's glorifying Jesus. It might be pride still in the air, but the only person we glorifying is him. So it eliminates all the competition. Like if anything, competition is in your head. It's not like you're not about to express it in real life. Like
right.
And that's why I love about it the most. Is like it's not even about me no more. Like so it's not me. I did the song, but me talking about him saved her life. So that's a win for me. Keep the money, keep the streams, keep all that. I'm cool with that. That's all I want is that.
That brings it all full circle to you had a song called Getaway, where at the end of the song you're talking and you say, but what are you doing for God? So that shows that your entire thought process behind that and you wanting to do whatever you're doing to.
Because I feel like it go back to what she was saying about how church was to her and how it was to all of us. How the message came to us is like, yo, you're a bad person and you're going to go to hell if you don't do exactly what he said. It says nothing about, and that's how I try to get people to understand. Like people say, I don't believe that Jesus was God. I'm like, well, if we was dogs, he would have to manifest himself as a dog to show dogs how to act. Like he can't just be spirit and show us what to do. He got to manifest as a human to show us how we supposed to treat each other.
Yes. Oof.
It's so I be watching so much stuff. I'm gonna tell y'all another thing that's crazy. Like I know y'all know about the serpent on the rod in the desert with Moses and all that. Like therapy. I know you mentioned therapy and everything like that.
I do.
I think the one thing that works the most in therapy is getting people to face what they're afraid of.
Absolutely.
But that's the same thing with the serpent in the desert. Like on the rod, like they got to look at it to overcome their fears. But Jesus represents the same thing. If your heart is really open to it, when you look at Jesus on the cross and you understand that all sin is the same, we are the reason he's on there, and we're no better than the people that's stoning him. You know what I'm saying? So, and that was revelation for me. Like it really changed my life. It made me not want to have blood on my hands. And then God is so good. He used his son's blood to clean us. Like that's just crazy. I don't want to have blood on my hands. Like, I just don't.
Right?
I don't. I'm in the laundromat today.
Look, Kristen, like.
I'm in the laundromat today. My first time able to actually minister to somebody. Because I got this homeboy named Live that stay in Baltimore. He was another big thing that made me want to be Christian, because he was like a kingpin in where he from. You know, they got the shot, he got the whole story. But you would never know that his smile is so contagious, yo. And I'm like, wow, what is wrong with you? Like, why are you so happy? But he just like he's the main one I call when I'm having issues, I'm dealing with spiritual warfare. I call him because he always know what to say. And
because he done been there, done that.
But when I'm in the airport all the time, I be feeling like God be like, yo, go tell that person about me. But I haven't been able to get over that fear yet. Yeah. But so I'm at the laundry.
Confidence.
I'm at the laundromat this morning washing clothes, and I'm feeling it again. Like, yo, like it's mad people in here. You know they depressed. You know they probably gonna kill themselves today. You need to go say something. But I didn't. But so I was outside rapping my music out loud because I have my headphones on. And I guess somebody that I didn't even see was in their car watching me. And I guess he heard what I was saying. He like, okay, he must be rapping his own music. Okay, he got a story to tell too. So I go back in the laundromat. I'm reading the Bible. And he just comes stand over me like, yo, what you doing and all this stuff. So we're just having a regular conversation. But the minute he started telling me about him and his wife ending their marriage after 13 years, I'm like, okay, he needs Jesus for real. So I just put it on him, like, for sure. I was like, damn. I said, y'all really gonna let it go after 13 years? I was like, yo, look, it worked though, yo. And then that gave me confidence to go in the Family Dollar and say the same thing. I'm at the clerk. I'm like, yo, I don't want to freak you out, but Jesus want you to know he love you. He want a relationship. And she like, that's crazy. I wish so-and-so was here because he was just talking about he want more Christian friends. I'm like, okay, all right, I see what's going on. So, yeah, I'm good now. I'm probably be in the airport going crazy.
Hey,
You got that confidence now?
how long is your layover?
Let me talk to you for a minute, brother.
Right quick.
Hey, brother, how you doing?
Believe it or not, I think this junk, I walk around with it everywhere. Like, in the store, I go in the store with it. I'm in the airport with it. It gets me everything. Like, I don't be trying. Like, you know, I'm big. So, in the back, I don't pay for...
Y'all don't know, but he's 6
I
something.
don't pay for first class or nothing like that. So, I be back there like this. But I got a Bible. They be like, you want to go sit in the emergency seat? I'm like, yes.
Actually, I do.
The plane, when I almost missed my flight to Chicago again, so it was really about to be a part 2 because I was about to miss the flight. They closed the door and everything. The lady gave me attitude. I'm like, that's crazy. Y'all be treating God people like that, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? In about 5 minutes first she took my ID and tried to go find me another flight, and then they came back. They actually opened the doors. I'm like, that's crazy. Like,
God don't be playing by his children. Man. Stop playing with children.
So how do you practice your faith? Like, so we talking about God this whole time and how we feel about God and everything, but what does faith and practice look like for you, darling?
I do Bible study. I pray daily. And when I pray, I don't just go to God when I need some help. Where I used to think that that's what you're supposed to do. I just be talking to God. Like, we just be talking. Like, I literally just talk. Like, I praise him, thank him, and that just be it sometimes. Or sometimes it is, I need some help. What's up? I need some clarity. And that's another thing. I really talk to God.
Nah,
like,
yeah.
yeah,
I be
like,
cursing sometimes too. Lord forgive me, but I do.
like,
I
I be like, God, you know my heart. But, like, yeah. And so it'd be funny. My mom be like, every time I say something like, man, that's my dog. She be like, girl. Like, but no, for real. So I pray. I do Bible study. I make time to do praise and worship. Every time I'm in the gym at least 3 times a week. In the gym, I'm listening to gospel music. And it's so funny because I am on the elliptical singing out loud. And I be having to catch me like, girl. But I'm like, girl, I ain't sing. Go ahead. Like, go ahead. But now I do praise and worship. I'm still trying to get better with Bible study, though. Because I feel like that's like our instruction book. Like, that's like literally our instruction book. So I want to get better with focusing on, I guess, like a chapter instead of being all over the Bible. Yeah, I treat it like a real relationship. Like,
Because it is one.
yeah, I literally nurture it like a real relationship. I gotta get to know you. Okay, so I gotta get to know you. Let me go to this, Bible. And I make sure that when I do my isolation, because I already told y'all I do that often. And that's when I really double down. Like, that's when I'm really like,
yeah.
Not saying I'm not, but I really make sure that is the main focus that's going on when I'm isolated from the world. Because, again, you got to be real careful about what you're doing when you are isolated from the world. So, that's when I really, like, double down. But, yeah, like, praise and worship, Bible study, prayer, daily. I'm talking to him every day. Which was it like?
Prayer-wise, what I'm really trying to do, I listen to sermons all the time. That's my thing. Like, I don't listen to secular music at all no more. I don't really be watching scary movies, nothing crazy like that. But when it comes to like prayer, I do everything else first, then pray. And I'm trying to learn how to make
Everything else, like what?
anything mixing that I gotta do, because I always got like a work overload. Yeah, I'm like, I need to stop like treating him like he's secondary when we supposed to put him first. Like,
right.
I always feel bad about it, because I be like, what do you mean you need to find time to pray for God? Like, you need to be praying to him first and then find time to do everything else. But I listen to sermons all the time. I do have small, subtle conversations with him. And I'm up front, transparent with him and everything. I'm like, what do you mean I gotta love her? Like, she just was in the crib tripping. Like, I be going crazy, but he be like, I don't trip on you when you do it. So I'm like, all right. And I love it so much, though, because
like
me and her is like, we just run back. Now, I'm sorry, you right, I was wrong. Like, I love it. I never had that in my life.
Marriage.
Yes, I've never had that in my life.
Audience. Okay.
Never. Anybody. When I first got like baptized and started understanding what's going on, I was calling all my friends that I fell out with, like, y'all, I apologize for anything I did.
It does soften your heart. It make you look at people and things differently, I think.
Everything. It make you value everything. Like, I value everything. Like, every single thing. Like, trees, birds, all of it.
All of it.
Because if you don't, you gonna want it in your life. Because you don't see the beauty in life. Like, it's actually a beautiful thing. I was talking to my daughter about it yesterday. It's like, you think you're just a person with thoughts and all that. It's like, yo, if you ever was really able to see what's going on in your body for real, how the little neurons and all that other crazy stuff.
Everything is just
it's
working.
like, and then I told her, I was like, yo, we value the iPhone more than we value us. Then the iPhone can't do nothing. Like, this thing ain't about to get up and walk. It can't go have sex. It can't get drunk. It can't do nothing that we do. Like,
nope.
So I can never look at anything that's here and not value myself like more than other stuff. Like,
when I feel like I want to get more connected with God, one of my practices is fasting. Do you fast?
I tried it once.
Oh.
I went like 2 days.
Well, I pick my fast. I'm not doing the Daniels fast. I mean,
I did like straight water. That's what people.
Oh, you doing a water fast? Well, that's wild. One day, I aspire to do such things. However, for right now, I just pick something that I'm willing to sacrifice, that is important to me, and then. But fasting to me is for God. It's all about God. So it's like, okay, God, I'm coming to you. I'm dedicating however many days or hours or whatever to you. And this is what I'm doing. And it's like a commitment. And like, I could do that more than I could do anything because I don't want to let God down.
See, I think with the water fast thing, the way it was put to me, is like if you're not eating, listening to music, smoking, whatever you do, if you cut all of it off.
It makes your consciousness. And
I mean, that too, but it's a really in-depth definition of fighting all your temptations at the same time.
It is.
And how my fast was, them 2 days I did. Have you ever been on a treadmill and stopped, but you could have kept going?
No.
Or well, for me, anytime I went to the gym, if I'm running, I'll be tired, and then I'll stop, but I know I could have kept going. That's how I felt with my fast.
Right.
So I feel like if I start doing it more, because I don't do it. Like, I tried it once because it was part of a conversation one day. I was like, all right, let me just try this junk.
Or just take baby steps in the future. Like, instead of doing the water one, do something else that you feel like will assist. It's a true sacrifice or something that you really like doing or you really like indulging in. And then let go of that for 7 days,
what
10
days,
days,
what be
21
making
days.
you decide that you're finna do it? Like, how do you go
I
about
will
that?
feel completely off balance. I'll feel off balance, disconnected from God, too in the world, overstimulated, all of that stuff, and I be feeling like I need a complete 100% shutdown. Mm-hmm. And it'd be like, I need to fast because I need to connect outside of this world. I'm too plugged into all of these things because I'm an overthinker, empath, all of this stuff. The music, the TV, the social media, all of this stuff, it starts to like consume my mind, and I'll feel real bogged down spiritually, and I'll feel spiritually lazy. I'll feel really just disconnected. So that's my thing. So mine is what I'm taking out. I have a list. What I'm taking out and what I'm adding. Because I feel like a fast is more so about what you're adding than what you're removing. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people think about it the opposite way. Wow. So I'm like, I have an entire list. I'm not eating fried food. I'm not drinking alcohol, whatever. And then on the other side is I'm praying on my prayer wall every day at 9 p.m. I'm journaling every day. I'm turning the TV off at 7. I'm not watching blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm. So that I really have an entire, like I have made a system around where I will have stillness and I'll have quiet time. And it's really just me and God. Like if I have to journal every night, my TV has to be off at 7 o'clock and I can't be on my phone. What else am I doing?
All right.
I'm putting more time into whatever else I need to put time into. Like if I had kids, it'd be my kids. If it was my spouse, it'd be my spouse. If it's my journal, my friend. But I'm not doing the things that distract me. So it's quiet in the noise so that you can actually be in quiet and stillness and have the peace that surpasses all understanding.
Facts.
Let me hear it, guys. What's y'all favorite worship songs? If you like, either you want to feel God move through you or maybe you're down, like what's your go-to song?
Melodies from heaven.
Come on. Melodies from heaven. Yes. Right now.
I love everything Kirk Franklin, actually.
Hello.
Give Me with Miley Music. He got Give Me That Joy I Can't Explain. Stomp. Hosanna.
Kirk Franklin, Fred Hammond type of girl.
But they really get me going. So yeah, I like if I want to be uplifted, those are the ones I go to.
Okay.
What about you?
Mine is, well, I agree 100%. I got a whole blessings playlist, and Kirk Franklin is all up and down that. But my go-to song, it just makes me feel so good, and it just really always brings chills, and it really actually brings tears to my eyes every time I hear it. Is Addicted Love by BB and CeCe Winans.
Oh, I love
because
that
it's so
song.
crazy. I didn't know when I first heard it that it was actually
I didn't think it was gospel.
Song.
Me either. It came out back in the day.
And my mama heard me singing
95.7.
it. She heard me singing it, and she saw how happy I was singing it. And she was like, "Do you even know what you're singing about?" I was like, "Yeah, they just love each other." I didn't know they was. I was young. I didn't know they was brothers and sisters. I was like, "Yeah, they just love each other so much."
I didn't know that either.
And then,
No, it's not a love song.
when my mother broke it down to me, like what they were actually talking about, I was just like, "Oh my gosh!" Like I loved it even more. And then I go through phases though. Like every now and then it'll change, but
same.
But Addicted Love has been kind of like.
Yeah, I love Addicted Love.
Yeah, it just
that's a good song.
Cause it's like, yeah, let me tell you some more about them.
And there's some Rick Rogers songs that we like.
That's good. That's really good.
That's good. Which ones you like?
I don't know names for real.
That's a shame.
I don't know people's name like that. But I know some songs about you provide the fire, I provide the sacrifice. I don't know who sing it. It's another song called, it'd be like, Forever is a Long Time. I love that song. I like the Maverick City Kingdom.
I like Maverick City.
I just like that. I like that one song. I don't know all their
them.
music. And then I like Something About the Name of Jesus.
Oh,
Come
yeah.
It hit way different nowadays.
No, don't get me started. Something about the name.
And then it's this other song. It'd be like not forever is a long time. Is God, if you don't do it, then it won't be done or something like that. That's like my main one I go to like first.
Please Don't Pass Me by Fred Hammond. That song is so beautiful. You have to find that. He is talking about a story in the Bible, which I don't know because I don't know the Bible that well, everybody. But apparently Jesus was walking through a crowd with his disciples, and this man who was like, I think he homeless or something. He trying to touch Jesus and reach out to him, and they're like, "No, leave Jesus alone. Like you're a bum. You're not worthy to touch him." And so that's the name. The name of the song is "Please Don't Pass Me By," because he's saying like, I want to touch you. Like, don't pass me by, Jesus. Like, is a sinner like me worthy? And like, that's the song. It's a beautiful song. I love that song.
It made me think about in the Bible when that lady had like touched his robe. Like she believed him when I touched the robe, but she was healed by it. That was lit. Okay, so anybody got a favorite scripture? Yep, my favorite one is.
Well, while you're looking, my favorite one is Mark. And the only reason why I know this one is because I actually had to read it in front of the church before, but it like hit immediately when I read it. I always kept it with me. And please don't be mad at me if I get the actual number wrong. But it's Mark chapter 5. I think it's verse like 24.
Mark chapter 5,
but it's basically story about a child was sick and dying, and the family was just like going crazy, and God came into town, and he basically just told them, be not afraid, only believe. Simple, like the simplest thing, but it hit, and it has stuck with me for like, I read that when I was like 12. And it has always stuck with me. I told you I don't know, I can't remember nothing, but I remember that it's Mark 5, and I believe it's verse 24, and it's be not afraid, only believe.
I like that.
And the dude Dan Moeller, when y'all watch him, because I want y'all to, his thing is, I believe everything God say. So when he say be not afraid, that's literally how he live his life. Like when he say die to yourself, that's literally how he live his life. Like, so I'm not afraid. I'm not living for me. I wake up every day, and I just think that's the best way to have happiness. Like when you serve people that love, it has to come back. It has to.
I mean, you would think so. But the world can make you a little cynical.
If you love the way the world tell you to. And that's how I check myself too. It's like, yo, if I didn't do what God want me to do, I can't even have my own expectations of how this thing should have went. Like
because I wasn't
right,
obedient.
I wasn't obedient. Yeah, so I'd be like, you can't even be upset no more. Like
You had a verse like that. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it stuck out when I was listening to it. But go ahead.
What's your verse?
So my favorite one is Corinthians 13. It say love is the greatest. It's kind of long if you don't want me to read. It's not that long, but it's just say if I could speak all the languages of earth and of angels, but didn't love others, I would only be a noisy gong or a clanging cymbal. If I had the gift of prophecy, and if I understood all of God's secret plans, and possessed all knowledge, and if I had such faith that I could move mountains, but didn't love others, I would be nothing. If I gave everything I have to the poor and even sacrifice my body, I could boast about it. But if I didn't love others, I would have nothing. And then it says, love is patient and kind. Love is not jealous or boastful or rude. It does not demand its own way. It is not irritable. It keeps no records of being wrong. It does not rejoice in injustice, but rejoices whenever the truth wins out. Love never gives up, never loses faith, always hopeful, and endures through every circumstance.
Yes, I ain't know what the beginning of that was,
But I knew
did
that
know the
end.
end.
Because that's literally my definition. Like when people are like, oh, what you think
What
love
is
is?
love?
I be like, what did the Bible say?
Right.
And I
Right.
talk about that verse right there because I believe 100% everything.
Absolutely.
Like I know God is love and we was put on this earth to love.
Yeah,
Literally.
that verse like that right there is what I use to, because we talked about my relationship before, and I had my little manly issues, but now it's like I have to accept everything she did because I wasn't giving her this.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's good.
So even in the way I be Bible studying, it's like love is patient and kind. Okay, am I patient and kind? Definitely not. I snap like this. Okay, so you need to fix that. Do I hold grudges or whatever it says? Doesn't hold. So nowadays, whenever if she texts me something nasty, I just delete the whole thread because I don't even want to be able to hold it against you no more. You know what I'm saying? So if it ain't this, it ain't gonna work. Like point blank period. Y'all can get through it, but it's not gonna work.
Oh, that is so good.
That's just me. That's my favorite one. That's the one I live by.
Oh.
And I try to live by.
God, you know I want a husband. When you send him to me, can you have him think like this? Cause woo,
And you can't even expect
I want
submission
my
though, for
husband
real.
to feel like that.
Like I feel like men can't expect submission from women if they're not a form of godliness to submit to.
Absolutely correct. Cause I would
When I
love
see all these
to
little
submit.
internet
I want to
gurus
submit,
and
but
all
you gotta-
that, I be like, that's not it. Like I don't see why we take advice from people that's always single all the time. Like our whole life we do that. So if it ain't this, it ain't love. It's not.
Yes, I want that love.
That's
That,
what I want.
what thing is this again? Corinthians. I
Corinthians
want that Corinthians
13.
love husband.
Corinthians 13:4.
Straight like that.
Whoever you are out there, that's what I want. And my favorite verse is, I don't know the name of the verse. I think it's Philippians something. It's the God is within her. She cannot fail. Because it reminds me who God is, and it reminds me who I am
you
because
are,
of
right.
who I
Come
belong
on.
to. All at the same time.
Facts.
So it boosts you up. Okay, so what do you have coming up next? What's going on with you? Products. Well, not products, but...
I got a joint project with this guy named Karen the Light.
Karen E. Light.
Karen the Light.
Oh, The Light. Okay.
And he's like a pretty popular Christian artist. I feel like I skipped levels by being on music with this guy because it's like he's like up there. Like people know him like that. So I don't. It's through Marcus, of course, through affiliation, but he likes my music too. So I'm happy that I get to actually do this because on some insecure stuff, I would never thought he would want to do a project with me. So I'm really excited about it. And it's called the way the project is. It's not really a joint project. It's all my songs featuring him.
Oh, wow. Is he
So-
a singer, rapper? Okay.
So we titled it's called And Then There Was Light. Like, you know, Bible, blah, blah, blah. And then I have
that's
I put out
pretty
3
dope.
versions of Ricky Miyagi. So I wanted to complete it with version 4, so it's called Ricky Miyagi for Christ. So I'm gonna use
These titles.
I'm gonna let this album with Karen, because it's gonna bring me a lot of
Karen.
Karen
K-A?
the like K, I think it's Kieren or
Okay.
Ki. It's like Kiwu name almost.
Oh, okay.
So, I'm gonna drop that first, let that run its course. Then I'm gonna drop my personal Ricky Miyagi 4, cause that's really the meat and potatoes of where my faith started. Like all my ideas is on that project. Like the other ones I dropped, those was like spur of the moment. Like missed my trip to Chicago, I missed the trip. And instead of like nowadays, like when I'm feeling bad or when I get upset, it's like, okay, I know God want me to feel like doing. What can I do? What can I do? What can I do? So I just made a mixtape. All right, I'm gonna turn this negativity into something positive. Palm trees and parable was the same thing. And then it just with Marcus, I just travel everywhere. Like I leave like almost every 2 weeks.
Yeah,
Like, we about to leave in the morning. Yeah, about to go to St. Thomas, shoot videos, come back, and I gotta go to Baltimore twice in like 3 weeks. And that's it. I'm just going wherever God taking me. Like I ain't even tripping. Like it's so crazy. I don't want nothing. Like I don't want to be rich. I don't want to be famous. I want whatever God want to give me, and that keeps me at peace. Like I don't want nothing. Like I don't.
Good place to be.
Yeah, I don't want anything. What do I need?
Oh my God.
Because the Bible says you lack nothing. Use what I gave you.
Right.
So if I don't got the best camera, I use my phone. If I don't have a good microphone, I use the one I got. If I don't got good clothes, I'm gonna wear the ones I got. And it just is what it is. You either like it or you don't. But God love me, so whatever.
Damn. That was some good shit. Sorry, Lord. But it was, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
So what would you tell your younger self about your relationship? I mean, about God. You could say your teenage self or your 20-year-old self.
Overall, I would just say God is within you. You were put on this earth to love. And seek a relationship with God based on not based on what others tell you. If it don't feel right, it probably ain't right. And you don't have to like feel bad or like you doing something wrong because you feel how you feel about certain people that's preaching to you.
I like that. And what do you want to tell your younger self about God?
That you should have listened to your grandma when she pulled you to
Come
the side
on.
and told you.
Okay.
My grandma Mary, when I got saved, I called her and she cried because she always prayed that one of us would get it. Like none of my mom, but that's a different side. My dad's side, none of them picked it up. And she was like, I always just prayed that one of y'all, one of my grandchildren, somebody. And then she was like, she told me when I was 6, she said, I gave you, they got them little pamphlets. She said, I gave you a pamphlet. She told me when I was 6, when you find this, when you find whatever this is, you're going to come back to me. And I cried too, because I was like, I didn't even know, but it just made me feel good, because it's me. He chose me. Like, she was like, I tried to put it on your dad. He didn't want to take it. So like the Bible say, I'll give it to the next generation. And it's up to me. And I'm not letting my kids grow up without knowing who Jesus is. That's dead. We Bible studying every time they come to the crib. For real, man.
That's okay. Grandma Mary. I ain't never met your Grandma Mary, I don't think.
I ain't even really know her life story until
Well,
God brought me back to her.
More time with Grandma Mary.
I mean, I'm about to go out there and preach on her porch. She want me to
And-
come
and-
reach the youth.
As you should. You need to call her. You need to spend more time with her. Because I know, that's what you need to be doing. I'm just saying.
What would you tell your younger self?
Don't be condemned. Don't feel conflicted by what you don't understand. Don't shrink yourself in terms of God and finding your faith because you feel out of place or something like that. Search for God out of the soft place in your heart, not the hard place. Don't let the world make you become bitter.
That's beautiful.
And that...
I've been thinking about shrinking myself. I shrunk myself a lot of times.
I shrunk myself so many times in the spaces of people who I felt like were super religious because I didn't feel like I belonged there. I don't know y'all songs, y'all quoting scriptures. I don't know those. I ain't like y'all.
Right, and you're not supposed to be.
So I'm doubling back. After this, I'm going outside, smoke. You know what I'm saying? Like, I felt out of place in Christ, in God. You're never out of place when it comes to God. God loves you. God is always around, whether you believe it or not, whether you feel it or not. You don't got to seek him. He's seeking you always. That's what I tell myself.
Facts, though.
All right. Well, we're going to wrap this thing on up. I think we did good.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you for being
coming to the treehouse.
I'm glad I didn't cry. I thought we were going to cry on this episode.
We ain't cried yet. So don't you?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
God is different though. That
Yeah.
conversation is a lot different. But I'm glad though, and I'm proud of y'all. Like, cause it's mad people sitting on gold and they just not pushing forward with it. So y'all going to get whatever it is y'all trying to get. Even y'all not trying to get nothing, he gonna give it to y'all. Like, cause y'all pushing forward with it.
Beautiful friend.
For real, it's gonna happen. Whatever is y'all trying to make happen, it's already happening. Like, and y'all, the more y'all do it, the more it's gonna happen. So I encourage y'all to keep going. Yeah, it's gonna be some days y'all don't feel like doing it, but just do it.
Like today.
Yeah.
Just still do
Oh,
it.
the devil was working hard today, and I mean, I knew it was him. I know it had. Ooh,
This episode was almost.
this almost got canceled.
I was absolutely exhausted. I was nauseous. I couldn't focus. My work day was terrible. I got home. I couldn't focus. I mean, I'm trying to write the thing out. My hands are shaking. I'm like, am I having anxiety problems? I don't have these no more. Like, what is going on? Now I talked to her and she feeling off all day, had problems at work, and it was like, yep, people don't know. It was this close, but I know how your schedule is. And it was almost like God was like, nah, you can't reschedule. Because my head, I'm going to reschedule. But anyway, thank y'all for tuning in. Oh, how can they reach you on your platforms or whatever for your music and things?
It's Rick Rogers, ROGERS on all the music platforms, and then Instagram is Rick Rogers Worldwide.
Okay. That's where you will find he has a podcast, he has music, he engineers, he does videos. I mean, what don't you do? Is that
I
everything?
mean, anything in the entertainment business, I do it.
He do
production wise.
And that's how you can find him. He shares his story. He shares all the music and people he works with. So if you want to be inspired, tune in, check in, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And same thing with us, Treehouse Vibes. Thank you for tuning in. We out. Bye. Cut.
Do you say that after everyone?
Yes.
Word.